Good day, everyone. Flat Daddy here. Just gonna talk about NASA and how they're two-faced here, because when we look at them, they're actually a part of two industries.
What does it take to change the world?
What is the most important experiment on the ISS right now, and why?
Yeah, he ain't gonna answer it. He doesn't know the answer. This also gets me thinking NASA might be
This
involved with what
disciplined
we
and deliberate
consider
process can be
chemtrails.
seen clearly in the aircraft industry.
Nate, there are two ways to answer that question.
And because getting it right is so important, the workload is often shared with thousands of highly skilled industry personnel.
From my point of view, the most important experiment on the space station right now is the one
Very
that I'm
contradictory.
As well as with the brilliant engineers who run our national wind tunnels, labs, and flight facilities at NASA.
And the reason why is because if I don't do my part right,
What a
the
joke.
experiment probably will be a failure.
Much of the early testing begins at NASA, where engineers bring the breadth of years of aeronautical knowledge
And
to
this
bear.
explains
So
where all
right
the
now, while I'm working here,
money
all
is
the
going
other
for
members of the
NASA
crew
employees.
are
Like
working on their
everyone
experiments.
asks,
We will follow
there's so many
them
people
to
at
see how
NASA.
initial designs and ideas
How could they all
are
keep
moved
alive, right?
through the
So,
pipeline from computer
most of the
drawings
people
and
I
wind tunnel
suspect
models
that work at
all the way
NASA
to scale model
work on this
aircraft
side of
and
NASA,
full-scale flights.
because even in the
Chris
title, this is
Chris
NASA
Cassidy is
X.
assembling one in the microgravity science glove
joke.
box.
Really? This is an experiment? Think about it. You guys go watch this video in full. I just sped it up here, but come on.
By now, most people are familiar with the story of the first flight the Wright brothers took at Kitty Hawk
See,
in
some real
1903. The
scientists
brothers
here.
realized that much of the data they'd been using from others was faulty, and the only way they could get
Yeah,
accurate
they
data
had to get the
was to
data
get it
themselves,
themselves.
right?
And let's get back to doing some science.
First successful heavier-than-air flying
And remember
machine.
that, heavier
Wow, I
than
just
air.
love those oscillations.
Obviously, much of the testing of today is accomplished by aircraft manufacturers,
Just one of these jaw-dropping moments.
but many people don't realize that virtually every new aircraft design is still tested at different NASA centers around the country.
They're involved with this
Oh,
industry?
right at the lead. I saved the lens.
This is because NASA is still the world leader in aeronautics and has the facilities and brainpower to continue to improve the science of flight for all of us.
And I'll use it to make tea with, so I'll end up drinking my experiment.
So they're actually into
People
the
decide that they're going to take a
airplanes,
flight.
not
What are they
into
looking
space.
for? Are they looking at how long it's going to take me to make this flight? Not necessarily. They're looking at the number of stops and the cost.
Cost, right?
Gotta conserve
Yeah,
your
cost us
resources
a lot
more
in
than
taxpayer money to do that,
So
right?
we're directly, the work that we're doing directly impacts those. Fuel burn, emissions, noise. So for the general public, what we're doing is making it less costly for you to fly
Again,
without any
cost,
reduction
yeah.
in your safety, and we're doing that while we're making it better for the environment.
Your normal everyday life intuition no longer applies.
And the environmental check.
Environmentally
They had to throw that in there.
Aviation Project is making a significant and important contribution to aviation because it primarily is working on reducing fuel consumption and also reducing environmental impact, negative impact to the world from the aviation, namely emission and noise.
Really?
And that's why frontiers are rich.
That's why we're saying
Their
chemtrails,
goal
right?
to
I think it's all
simultaneously
state.
reduce aircraft drag by 8%, weight by 10%, fuel consumption by 15%, emissions by 75%,
Make us believe
and
the air,
reduce
or
overall
airplanes are
aircraft
causing
noise by nearly 90%.
all the pollution.
Because things aren't the normal, they aren't the usual.
So
Great
after
actors
the
up in
computer
space, so
models
they
are
use them.
run, engineers send exacting specifications to NASA's model makers, who build these small-scale
model makers.
aircraft for
Here we go.
testing in wind tunnels.
And we wonder where the ISS came from.
Joe, come take a peek at this.
Wow.
Of course, the art of creating aircraft models is decades old.
It's a superposition of surface waves that go around the outside of the sphere and body-centered waves, inertial waves that go through the middle.
But one of the newest and most exciting technologies being used to predict and improve aircraft characteristics is located here in the 14 by 22 wind tunnel at NASA Langley.
Of course.
But I think if you were just to come on board and think, what is the most important one?
This new technology is a very sophisticated acoustic array that is helping to reshape our understanding of aircraft.
To me, I think this is actually showing us
Maybe right now it's
technology
the alpha magnetic spectrometer, which is collecting
in a different
energy
way.
from the
They're
universe.
revealing it by
they're
saying they're
running
using it for something else.
composed of almost 100 microphones. And what it does, it phases the signals.
Oh yeah, they designed that just to understand aircraft noise.
I'm going to give it another puff just because I'm in space and I can.
Go to a different location and
Wow.
and amplify the signal such that we can pick particular spots and be able to determine exactly where the noise is coming from by focusing on different locations. It's kind of taking a snapshot.
And you really want to focus, and no matter
Different
what else is
locations.
happening,
Remember, they said
that
this is
the
in
most
their
important
building.
thing of all.
So that you'll be able to see it.
I wonder if this is like new
3D.
spying
And you'll be
radar
able
so they
to
can listen in
normally-
on us.
You would only measure a single microphone result, but now we can actually pinpoint it. We've
Wow,
done
pinpoint
acoustic
it, eh?
testing in this facility primarily for helicopter work,
It's collecting dark matter from the universe.
but never to this magnitude as far as the array, the towers that we have. But this is the most
I'm
extensive.
telling you,
in this
like they said,
facility.
different locations.
Whoa,
I mean,
whoa.
what's
I
the
was afraid.
deal
Oh,
here?
look at that. Cool.
We really have done a good job of designing these concepts using the virtual space, and they are performing as predicted.
I squirted water through. Oh, isn't that cool?
Mostly as predicted.
You know, and
Typically,
one thing I want
it
to show
takes
is like this
10
guy's
to
a
15
real
years
scientist,
from
a
the
real
time that
engineer,
you
right?
really
We feel that.
create a technology that you have to look at all aspects of it, make sure that it doesn't have any negative impact. It takes
Listen to
about
him.
15 to 20 years to get on a real aircraft.
Like again,
so
real
we have
scientists.
been working on this technology
That
for
guy,
the
I
past
believe.
few years, and we are part of a
real
program
scientist,
with our
engineer.
partner
Like
Gulfstream.
one thing I noticed
The water in the sphere went around the air cavity.
between these,
that
what I
once
want
we
to
are
show
done
is
with
that
this experiment,
we look at
that we
SpaceX
down-select
or
some of our best
NASA X,
performing noise reduction
and
concept for both
we
flap
see
and
real
landing
engineers. They
gear,
sound real. They're
and
talking
pretty much put it
the
on
lingo.
the Gulfstream
You watch
aircraft,
Chris Hadfield
and
or
we
any
use
of
that
these other
aircraft as a
like,
test bed to
Scott
really
Kelly and that.
find out.
They're actors. This
Let's see
guy's
what
an
my
actor.
hand looks like. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh.
They
The
don't know
performance
experiments.
of these noise
They know how
reduction
to act.
technologies that we're working on
That's
in
why
real
it
environments
doesn't
is
feel right
the
when you're
actual
watching it.
full-scale
You know
aircraft.
something's wrong because this
Dark
isn't
matter
the way
with
it
that
acts. Like
experiment
every
that's on our
professional
space station.
agency we see,
We were working
Their
on
employees act
for
accordingly.
the flap, we have shown through our modeling and simulation that you can reduce it by about 60-70%.
they don't do this. This isn't a
And for
science
the
experiment.
landing gear, we have shown
We're spending
that
billions
maybe
of dollars for him to
50
play around with a
60%. And so
large
what we are
sphere
trying
of
to
water
do
in space.
Here is through computational simulation.
Simulation.
That is really
And this whole
old,
thing about
and,
them
the
trying to find dark
technology
energy up
that
there.
really
Like
produced
what
that
equipment
amount
is
of
up there
noise
that's going to
reduction.
capture dark energy?
That's
When they're
really
building
interesting.
a
It's not conclusive
CERN,
yet because it hasn't been there long enough to
that's
prove it.
huge. It takes up 2 countries almost, you know? Like, come on. Look at this. Fly heavier than air machine. Heavier than air machine. You know, these little statements, and they said it twice in this film, are totally towards density. There's no gravity in that statement.
And we can prove that. We can figure that out because of the International
See, it points
Space
up for
Station.
the space
One of the
station.
latest flight
I
records
cut
to
that clip a
fall
couple more
came into the
times in
hands of
here
the
so you guys can
engineers who
catch it.
fly this
Look at me
aircraft,
when he talks about the
the
space station.
X-48C.
He's pointing up.
This unique
Like,
hybrid
he's
wing
on the
body
ground.
design is a departure from current aircraft designs, but has shown great promise in reducing both noise and emissions.
It swallowed a.
So we've done wind tunnel testing, right? We did wind tunnel testing with both the B configuration and
I'm
the
also
C
going to leave a link
configuration.
for this
And the next
original
step
video
beyond wind tunnel
for
testing
this
is to take a smaller scale. This is an 8.5%
48,
scale
so that you guys
vehicle
can take a look
into
at it.
flight test and make sure that everything that you've predicted through the wind tunnel
How am I going to get those out?
is confirmed or validated in flight. So the
As far as the rest of the
X-48B through
cutscenes
92
from
flights, we've now
the NASA
converted into
Space
the
Agency,
X-48C, which is our low noise configuration.
they're
It's
everywhere.
called the
Those
low
are
noise
easy to find. I don't
configuration
think I need to
because
post those
we
for
have
you
gone
guys.
from 3 engines to 2 engines.
It's
This
collecting
guy,
dark matter from the
an
universe.
actor.
We've extended the aft deck of the aircraft, and that's meant to shield the noise in the downward direction. You'll also notice that on the B aircraft we had winglets that we've now moved inboard to vertical tails, and they shield the noise in the outward direction.
Oh, I could be a human pendulum. This shows the Lind's Law.
I
Because the
can't wait for their
researchers are pushing
judgment.
the envelope of flight with this scale model, no humans are put in danger during the test.
We're an unmanned vehicle. We are remotely piloted, so that means that we do have a pilot that flies it. We have a ground control station that sits in our
See,
hangar.
real
The
scientist
pilot
here.
sits in the
Listen
ground
to her.
control
Real.
station along with a flight test engineer,
She knows her stuff.
a range safety officer, and a flight
This
director.
guy?
Of dark matter with that
And he's an
experiment outside the
astronaut.
space station.
This is supposed to be our
And
brightest,
so the pilot
most
flies
educated
all of the
people.
flight cards that we have prepared for him for each
See,
of the
lots of
flights.
checks every
We
day.
test
Like
all
these
of
guys
the
should be
systems
checking
on
that
the aircraft to
ISS
make sure
every
they're-
day.
they're working.
They put them in
We can
danger up
prove
there
that.
all the
We can
time.
figure that out
See, it
because
points
of
up
the
again.
International Space Station.
We make sure all the flight control surfaces are working
See, very
well, so the
methodical.
pilot who's
They
sitting
do
in the ground
tests.
control
You
station
know,
back
this
at
is
the
real.
hangar cycles all of the surfaces
Remote
to make
control
sure
the
they're working
plane,
well.
but ISS send up crew of what, 4 or 6? How many are up there? Somewhere around that?
Speeds alive, 10 knots.
Good engines.
Just like this. You know, responsible guys. They look like they're doing work.
Tower, Skyrray 48 is airborne, Lakehead 23 right, turn right into the area with chase.
Oh yeah, one that all-seeing eye. I cut a clip here to show you. They had to throw it in there.
That's really interesting. It's not conclusive
Look at
yet
this fool.
because it hasn't been there long enough to prove it.
And not only that, I want to show you the connection at the end of this. You'll see, because they're throwing in one, the all-seeing left eye here in this water clip. And then also they saw on another YouTuber's channel, they showed them doing a dance. And if you look at the front astronaut, you'll see it. It's the dance of Shiva. So people that say there's no link between this and other things that are going on are out to lunch. They're just, or they're tunnel vision. Because they're not opening their eyes that this is connected to everything else that we're seeing. That's why people say Flat Earth opens you up, because you get to finally get the key to see how all the conspiracies
Generally,
link
on these
together.
types of
So
research flights,
these
there
other
will be a
truthers
small
that are
crew,
getting upset
2
about
pilots
Flat
up
Earth
front
should actually
and
come
several
and help
engineers
us
to
out,
sit in the
because
back to monitor the data.
that
That
information
same data
and
is
our
also beamed
information
down
and
to the
everybody's
engineers on the
information
ground to
probably will
validate the wind
unlock
tunnel and computer
this paradigm
models.
of lie quicker. Watch her dance. We all got pieces to this puzzle. To me, all we have to do is expose this and show everyone what's going on. And this is NASA. $18.5 billion. That's what they are doing with it. And then go look at Shiva's dance of destruction.
After all is said and done, this new technology
Yeah,
has the
it's
potential
definitely
to be
mission
a
control,
real
isn't it?
game-changer in
But
the
for
aeronautics
airplanes, not
community.
spaceships.
So if you think that they are doing science and they are a legitimate company, you are dead wrong.
But no matter
Like she
how it is
said.
done, it's comforting to
And
know
that was
every day
Educate
the
Yourself.
engineers of
Go
the
subscribe to her.
Environmentally Responsible Aviation
What I do
Project
is
are
I actually try to
continuing
promote
make
everybody.
strides to
Subscribe to
improve
each other.
flight
Let's
for
build
air
and
passengers
unite here.
today
Let's show each other
and
the
for
strength of our
generations
community.
future flyers as well.
A floating head.
Unless you want to be a floating head. God bless everyone.